This is your host with the most for today's episode of Authors Learning Something New. On today's show, we have Herb Baker and Rick Tabor, the authors of From Apollo to Artemis and Children of the Scroll. Hey, everybody, we're here today. Herb and I met at the recent authors event at the University of Houston in Clear Lake at Pearland. And it was a great event. And we said, hey, why don't we talk about our books online together and give folks an idea of what we're all about and what the books are all about.
Yeah.
Um, so Herb, what inspired you to start writing?
Well, I worked for NASA for 42 years and grew up here locally where the Manned Spacecraft Center, now the Johnson Space Center, was built. And so from the time I was 12 years old, I've been kind of connected to what's going on with NASA. And again, went to middle school and high school with the Apollo astronauts kids. And so anyway, then had a career with NASA. Uh, I've got to do a lot of cool things, meet a lot of cool people, astronauts, and I do a lot of social media. And so people for the last 10 or 12 years have been telling me, you need to write a book. And I kept hearing it and hearing it. And of course, I'm thinking, oh yeah, right. What do I don't know nothing about writing a book. I've never taken a writing course. Who's going to want to read a book by me anyway? And so anyway, uh, I retired, had the time, and finally decided, I guess in part just to get my friends to stop bothering me, I wrote the book. So that's people want a different answer sometimes when they ask me what inspired me, but that's pretty much what it was. It was my friends beating on me to convince me that I needed to put all of this stuff down in a book.
Nice. Herb, you got some really deep roots then in that area and in NASA and all that stuff. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, again,
lots of friends and
yeah.
coworkers.
Oh, yeah, no, again, like I said, I played on for those of you who know the early astronauts, I played on the middle school football team with Frank Borman's son, Fred, and Scott Carpenter's son, Jay, and all through high school, Grissom, Cooper, Carpenter, Schwab, Borman, Lovell, Isley, Stafford, we're still
Wow.
friends today. So yeah, so pretty much so the name of my book is, From Apollo to Artemis, Stories from My 50 Years with NASA. If you count the whole time, it's more like 60 something years. But anyway, yeah, that's how I got my book started. So what inspired you to write your book, Rick?
Um, well, I've always had this weird section of my brain that too much creativity, way too much creativity. And I've always wanted to put it on paper, but it took a 40 plus career year and 40 plus years of a career in polymer science to have the harsh angel of reality tame my creativity into something that was more um, readable and interesting and followable by readers. And I used to tell stories around campfires just off the cuff and for my grown kids and now for my younger kids. And I've tried to write a board book for little kids when my kids were little, and that's a brutal market to start out.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, like you, I retired. I'm semi-retired. I do some consulting
Yeah.
in the area of polymer science still, and I decided that it was time. And basically, this is my first attempt at writing my debut book, The Children of the Scroll, and it's doing all right so far.
Good. Good. Yeah.
Well, how about you?
Yeah.
I think one of we came up with a few questions we wanted to ask each other, and one of them is, what's the best money you've ever spent as a writer?
Yeah. So uh for me, I started uh trying to write and Microsoft Word, right? I guess a lot of people do that. And so again, I'm covering, 50, 60 years and a lot of stuff happening in there, and I'm trying to keep it in kind of chronological order. And so I'm typing away on Word, and I'll think of a person or a place or a thing or a conversation or an activity, and I think, oh, I want to write about that. And I think, well, I didn't want to have 500 little yellow stickies. And so I thought there's got to be a, a an author book writing software somewhere. And so I did a Google search, and sure enough, I found one called Scrivener, which apparently is one of the more popular ones. And it's kind of a fancy word processor again for authors, but the thing that saved me, I'm not sure I would have finished my book if I hadn't found Scrivener,
Oh,
was
wow.
writing and something pops into your head that you want to remember to write about, and you just punch a button and a electronic digital card comes up, the index card, and you can type on there, oh, don't forget to write about this person or that conversation or this event or that activity, and then just slide it over into your outline there and go back to what you were doing. And so $60 or something like that. And again, I honestly, I'm not sure I would have made it all the way through my manuscript if I hadn't had that software helping me keep everything organized and keeping me sane, when trying to keep up with all of the hundreds of different people and places and things I wanted to write about. Yeah,
I know, I know what you mean.
yeah,
I know what you mean.
what about you? Did you have an expenditure like that?
Uh, I have a dear love for my personal computer, which is an Apple MacBook, and I love this thing. It's very uh, yeah. I mean, it's reliable. It just I love writing on Word. I'm pretty. I've got a system now to take care of some of the issues that you were having. So,
Um,
you know, like
yeah.
let's say in a book I'm writing right now, um, there's an event that occurs that's a very, very big event,
Mhm.
and I needed it to happen instead of in the Houston area. I needed it to happen in the Chicago area.
Mhm.
And so because of that, I had to go back in and, rejigger any mention of Houston and put
Okay.
it into the terms of Chicago. I had to relocate the main characters,
Mhm.
things like that. So it was that was a pain. And if Scribbler will help me with that kind of issue, I would I might have to make that investment myself.
Yeah, so it sounds like just a word search kind of thing. Find every instance of Houston and replace it with Chicago kind of thing. And so Scrivener can do that. Word searches every place. But to be honest, I even did a little bit of back and forth once I kind of got everything mostly done. I to be honest, I transport or whatever you want to call it, moved it into Word and then played with it in Word too. And then just a couple of times went back and forth. But yeah, you might give it a try. Again, may have gone up a few bucks now, but $60 is,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, best money I ever spent.
All right. Second best money I've ever spent, Herb, is on a review by Kirkus,
Yeah,
Kirkus Review.
yeah.
I actually spent that $450
Hmm.
to get my book reviewed by Kirkus Reviews, and they gave it a pretty decent review. And I had a few doubts about it. And when you write your first book, you're like, is this any good? Is anybody going to like this?
I know that feeling.
Anybody going to care about this book? And
Yeah.
then, you find out later, yeah, well, you got some chops.
Hmm.
People are telling you, hey, this is
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, but I needed that. I was trying to get the book into libraries because right now it's in 43 libraries across the United States. And as I was trying to do that, everybody was asking me, the librarians were asking me, hey, does this have a Kirkus review or
Oh,
something like that that we can
mhm,
sort of
mhm.
we usually use that as a basis, a foundation as to
Yeah,
whether or not we'll order a book from
right.
your company.
Kind of makes it
And
legitimate. Yeah,
legitimate, yeah. So I put you mainstream, and I talked to a
yeah.
librarian afterwards, and she said, "Yeah, this review is definitely put you in the mainstream. So this is money well spent. So
Yeah.
next time, that's maybe something you can consider in the future if
Yeah.
you haven't already done it.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, exactly. In fact, I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I have not done that, and because and I only have my book in one library, and it's actually University of Houston Clear Lake, the main University of Houston Clear Lake
There
campus.
you go.
So yeah, I may just have to do that. Yeah, because I
You,
would like to
you
get it in the libraries a little more widely.
after this interview is over, I can send you a list of libraries and some tricks of the trade for getting into the library as opposed to your book ending up in the Friends of the Library
Right.
book sale, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the dreaded Friends of the Library book sale.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
want to have your valuable book in that.
Yeah, no, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, that'd be great, Rick. Thanks.
Absolutely, yeah. This is the kind of thing that I really like to do with authors is to collaborate
Yeah.
because I'm debut author. I'm green and I'm still learning. So
Oh, me too.
every time I talk to somebody like you, I learn tons.
Mm,
So all
yeah.
right, you ready for that next question
Yeah,
then?
sure. Let's go.
All right, when did you start writing?
Well, oh, so this may surprise you. It's about 3 years ago, I was 71. And so it just goes to
Cheers.
show that you're never too old to learn something new, right? And so now the interesting thing about that for me is that because again, never having taken a writing course and certainly never written a book, I had to learn a lot. And in fact, I self-published, and so I had to learn how to do that too. And so I've thought several times, you know, I feel like it's a total waste now if I don't, go back and try to write another book, right? I've learned how to do all of these things, and I feel like I could do a good job at it. So, let me work on some ideas and try to put all of this good stuff I learned to good use. So anyway, yeah, again, I was 71 when I started and 73 when I finished the final draft. Yeah,
Nice.
so
Nice.
so so how about you? I know you're not quite as old as me.
Oh, I'm getting there very, very fast, faster than I'd like. Um, so when did I start writing this book? Oh, well, the original title of this book was The Mud Woman
Hmm.
because the con so sorry, I'm having allergies today.
Hmm.
The concept for this book came about when my daughter and I were driving along and we came to this culvert and it was a stop sign there and there was this little old lady bent over with a hood and sort of a long cloak and she had a basket and she came up and she looked really spooky in the dusky light and she said, "Who is that, Dad?" And I said, "Oh, that's the Mud Woman. She's out collecting children who are out past their bedtimes to digest." So she punched me in the arm, and then I
Mhm.
said, "Well, this could be an all right story." And
Yeah, yeah.
but anyway, so it eventually uh, converted into from the Mud Woman into the pandemic scroll into the
Mm,
children of the scroll.
mhm,
After I got to talking with a group of beta readers.
mm,
So
mhm.
so that's so when was beginning of 2024. Finished it
Oh, oh,
first
okay, wow.
draft in August of 2024, and which is people say is fast, but it
Yeah,
went. I had time, and it came pretty
yeah,
quickly, and
yeah.
I'm real passionate about getting it done, get her done sort of guy. And so yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that's my story on when it was
yeah.
done. Um, all right, how about who is your hero?
Yeah, so that's an easy one for me. I actually do a lot of speaking, public speaking and presentations and podcasts and things, and I get asked that the question I get asked worded a little differently maybe. It's what's the most memorable thing about your long career with NASA? And it was meeting who I consider my hero. It was Fred Hayes, who was the lunar module pilot for Apollo 13. And of course now he's with once Jim Lovell, who was the commander of Apollo 13, passed away about 9 months ago. Fred is the only one of the three that is still alive. And so anyway, back and you'll have to read my book to get all the details about this, but I was a teenager working on site at the Manned Spacecraft Center with the news media. I wasn't working for NASA, but I was on site at NASA
Wow.
with the news media covering Apollo 11, Apollo 12, Apollo 13, Apollo 15, two Skylab missions. And my job was to take film that they'd filmed interviews with astronauts and flight directors to Intercontinental Airport to be flown to New York to their studio so they could broadcast it on TV. So it wasn't like a professional job. I was just a gopher, right? But anyway, so I was there covering Apollo 13
Wow.
and remember that very well. And so then fast forward a few years, I'm now at my job at NASA, and Fred Hayes is there, and he's flying the approach and landing test, they call it. It was the initial flights of the shuttle Enterprise. It didn't go into space. They just dropped it off the back of a 747 and practiced landing it just to kind of get a feel for, the vehicle. And so then
Wow.
fast forward another, 10 years, and I'm working on a space station project, and Fred has left NASA and gone to work for Grumman, who built the lunar modules. And so he and I end up working together on a space station contract to provide support, engineering support to the Space Station Program Office. And it was almost $1 billion contract. He signed it for Grumman, I signed it for NASA, and we worked together. I was in his office about once a week for a year or so, and so this was almost 40 years ago. And so he and I have uh, remained friends. I have dinner or lunch with him about
Oh,
once or
wow.
twice every
Good for
month,
you.
and again, I mean, to
That's
think,
really cool.
even as I'm sitting here saying this, he's the only living Apollo 13 astronaut, and what he's been through. He actually crashed a plane at one point about 20 years ago and had, major burns over 60% of his body. So,
Mm.
and he's still out there going strong. I mean, so I've never met anyone quite like him. So he's my hero for sure. And again, it's such an honor for me to be able to talk with him every once in a while. So how about you?
Oh, that's incredible, Bert, Herb, sorry, and that's just absolutely incredible. My hero is Jesus. The man that
Mm,
saved the world.
yeah,
Literally,
yeah,
humanity.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
he he's he changed my life, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so,
I can
but
understand that. Yeah,
yeah, so mine's a bit shorter of a story, but definitely that's the guy. He's the
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Do you read your book reviews? How do you deal with good ones or bad ones?
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely read my reviews. I mean, my book's been out now for about 16 months, but I still every day religiously check
I know
and
the feeling.
yeah. And so far I don't have any bad reviews. The worst I've got is a 3 star. But I fully expect at some point to get a bad review. I mean, it's almost like it has to happen, right? Everyone doesn't have the same taste and have the same likes, and so it won't surprise. I've learned enough from other authors to know that, hey, don't be shocked when it happens, and don't let it bother you. Just because one person or two or three doesn't like it doesn't mean that it's not a good work. And so yeah, I definitely look at them and try, I feel like I've always been open to constructive criticism. And so if I do write another book, maybe I can learn something from some of the comments I've gotten on those reviews. Again, most of them are positive, but I've gotten a few ideas for things that I might do a little differently next time.
Yeah.
How have your reviews been?
I've had I've very much been blessed by all the reviews. I've got 37, 38,
Wow.
37 reviews on Amazon,
Yeah.
and all but two are 5 stars, and
Wow.
those two were 4 stars.
Wow.
So and it's just been unbelievably uplifting
Mm.
and uh, sort of supportive of,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, you did okay,
Yeah.
and
Right. Yeah.
keep this up, that
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was one guy on Goodreads. I've had similar success,
Mhm.
but not as good.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
Goodreads, they seem a little more critical.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, my average star rating on Goodreads isn't quite what it is on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm at 21 reviews on Goodreads. Those are harder to get.
Yeah, yeah, that
I
too.
think
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I think there's not as many
yeah,
users of Goodreads or people that are signed up for
yeah,
Goodreads who then read your book, for
yeah.
example. Amazon, if you buy anything from Amazon, you're signed up to use Amazon, so
Hmm.
it's easier to get reviews.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one review I got that was a 3 star, just like yours,
Hmm.
had some thoughts in it,
Yeah.
which I couldn't change. But there's one, oh, I know what it was. So my Kirkus review is where that came from. Kirkus suggested that my first of all, my beta group suggested I put citations in because the story was sort of had some scientific and
Hmm.
archaeological and things like that pieces in it, and I would put references for those off to my working file, but not in the book. And the guys in the beta group said, "Oh, you should definitely put citations in here." So I did. And then the Kirkus review said, "Oh man, these citations are," they wasted an entire sentence saying, "These citations are so distracting. I just
Oh,
wish the
yeah,
author wouldn't have put those in there." So
yeah,
I took them out,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
didn't have to change the ISBN,
Oh,
and
good. Yeah,
just
yeah,
kept the book the same basically.
yeah, yeah.
And so
Wasn't it?
that was an option for me to I had to pay for that, but
Yeah, yeah.
it made the book a little better,
Mhm.
at least for the Kirkus review guy.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, now ready for the next question.
Oh, okay.
Are you on social media, and how can your readers interact with you, etc.?
Yes, I think for most people maybe watching this would be surprised how much I'm on social media for an old guy. And it's because 90% of what I post is about NASA and you can guess people literally all over the world. I mean, I have,
Yeah.
followers in Colombia and Australia and New Zealand and Poland and
Wow.
Argentina and Canada and so anyway, so I'm on just name it LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and so actually, and I do a lot of podcasts, like I mentioned earlier, and it's all, if you Google me, you know how Google, well, and if you start typing something, it anticipates what you're looking for. And I think now, at least it works for me. If you type in Herb Baker on Google, it pops up Herb Baker, NASA employee, as one of the top selections. I've got that
Nice.
much stuff out there on, social media. So
Nice.
yeah, absolutely. And while we're on the subject, so anyone again watching this wants to interact or connect with me, be happy to do that. Again, it's very easy to find me.
Nice.
Do you do social media too?
Do you
Rick?
have your own website?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, I do. Thank you for reminding me. And
All right.
actually, I didn't
Tell
even
everybody
know.
what that is.
So I didn't even know this possibility existed at first. But so my website is herbbaker.space.
Oh, nice. Very
Yeah,
cool.
that was surprised to see that you know that element of it was in not .com or .org or whatever, but .space. So anyway, that's what it is.
Very cool. Well, as for me, I'm similarly connected
Hmm.
or on the social media. LinkedIn, part of my LinkedIn profile is related to writing
Hmm.
now. Didn't used to be, but
Yeah,
it is now.
yeah, same for
The
me.
vast majority of my I've got a 3,700 connections on LinkedIn, maybe
Mhm.
38 at this point. But um, part of my consulting for polymer science is making connections between people who have answers and people who have problems. And so knowing people who have solutions is what part of what I do. So I use that occasionally to make postings. I don't know if we'll use this interview or not, but um, uh, definitely on Pinterest,
Oh,
Instagram, um, X.com
yeah.
now. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I'm quite as well socialized as you are.
Well,
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna
couple of them,
check out Threads and Blue Sky of those.
yeah,
You've mentioned them.
they're not quite on the level of some of the others, but I figured, hey, I'll give them a shot. Yeah.
Nice. All right, last, let's see, we got, what is something your readers wouldn't know about you?
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite things. So back as far long ago as it was 1979. Wow. So I was 27 years old. I got involved in the local community theater and just fell in love with it. And so back then I was young and single and had lots of time for, auditions and rehearsals and learning the lines and performances. And so I've done an actor in community theater. I've been in something like 25 shows, but
Oh, wow.
the funny part about that is, so I did that, once I got started, I couldn't stop. So I was just doing show after show after show after show for about from 79 to 85 or so. But then I got married and had kids and the job started taking more time. So I took a big break. And after I retired, I thought, wow, I want to get back into, theater. And so I did here locally. And did about 6 or 7 more shows. Most recently, I was
Good
Chris
for you.
Kringle in Miracle on 34th Street. So, I had the lead in the role of show and
Wow.
loved that. Oh my gosh, that was, I think, probably my favorite role. So, anyway, yeah, most people, you'd never guess maybe that I love performing on stage as an actor in front of audiences and not quite the same as working at NASA, but I love them both just about the same. So how about you? Something that people might not know about you.
My grown daughter would say, "Did you know my dad has 85 patents?" And so
Oh,
that's I'm
wow.
always a little bit reluctant to, but
Wow.
yeah, I've got 85 patents, so that's sort of cool, I guess. And
That's
then
amazing.
I used to do art. I had an art for charity website and found out that there's a reason that the phrase starving artist exists. So probably did
Yeah,
spent, you know,
yeah, yeah.
10, my hourly rate was probably 10 cents an hour when it all
Yeah,
came to bear, but I
yeah,
had fun doing that. So,
yeah,
but I don't do much art anymore. My wife prefers my writing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank goodness I didn't have to make a living as an actor.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Are you working on anything at present? that you
Well,
would like to share with your readers?
so again, nothing concrete, so to speak, but like I said before, I've thought many times about, wow, not that I know how to do all of this, I kind of feel like I'm just wasting it if I don't. So I've had a couple of ideas that I've kind of started very, very early start on a couple of book ideas. One is that I'll mention is again, I've got to know and work with and become friends with a lot of astronauts, and I've heard many really interesting stories about their interviews to when they're, they publish an announcement to for a new, apply to be an astronaut, and we're going to select a new class of astronaut candidates, and to hear the stories they tell about what the interview process is like and the questions they're asked and things like that, and how they get notified when they're selected or not. It's just some really interesting stories. So I'm kind of thinking, hoping I can put together some good stories about that.
Nice.
You working on anything else, or would it be another fiction book, or maybe have you ever
Yeah,
thought about?
absolutely. It's just like I said, too much creativity going on
Yeah,
in there. So
yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm about halfway through it now. I'm at 45,000 words, and
Oh, wow.
probably going to shoot for between 90 and 110,000, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But this book, and the first book, I'm going to show it again, just because I'm. And the first book, Children of the Scroll, it was uh, there were Kirkus review was really uh, upbeat, thumbs up about my characters, my very colorful
Mm.
characters.
Hmm.
And so I said, yeah, I did really enjoy writing about the characters and sort of putting together a team of
Yeah.
unusual people who had to work together to accomplish something at
Yeah.
the end of the day. Save the family, save the world, whatever. And so in this case, it is a sort of a save humanity sort of book,
Mm. Yeah.
tentatively entitled "The Blink of Humanity,"
Oh. Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
it's got to imagine your typical alien that you do a search for alien, that kind of an alien,
Mm-hmm.
a girl with epilepsy, and the girl grew up and became a bioengineer and built herself uh, a miniature schnoodle. I think I've got the
Oh.
subject over
Oh,
there in the
yeah.
chair. She built a robotic miniature schnoodle with artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
and then an Inuit woman who gets pulled into the story in a sort of a strange way, trying to save the alien from the CIA.
Oh,
So there's a
wow.
lot of
Yeah.
oddball
Wow.
characters that I've pulled together, and um, yeah, that's what I'm working on next. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
having fun
So,
writing it,
yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
there's a chapter that I gotta fix that's
Yeah.
very controversial. I've
Yeah,
got to.
yeah. So that one last thought for me is because as I'm writing my book, and again, I'm knowing that, so it's historical and it's, things that really actually happened, and I'm thinking, wow, I need to get this right because I'm writing about people, and those people may be reading this book and they say he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and so I was really worried, and I thought, boy, those fiction writers have it easy; they can just make up anything, and and then I thought, well, wait a minute. They have to have an imagination, and I don't. So I thought, man, I'll just stick with the nonfiction.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading your book. I just bought it, within the past
Yeah,
week. I haven't started it yet, but
yeah, yeah,
I'm
that's
looking
great.
forward to it. Or
Yeah, I need to get yours too. Yeah, I should have picked one up when we were there, but
oh,
yeah,
no worries. I
yeah.
was deeply hurt, but that's okay. Show us your book
Oh, yeah,
as we draw to an end.
yeah, uh,
There we go, guys. There's
yeah,
the books you need to read next.
yeah. That would be great.